Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is Wednesday. Let me make sure everything's kind of turned up here. Today is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. And what we're going to be looking at today specifically is going to be the NQ, MNQ market, NASDAQ. Also, with a little bit of alignment of talking about the overall context of the markets from the futures perspective. So, comparing YM, ES, looking a little bit at QQQ, SPY, and then as well as just kind of keeping our eye on gold and silver. And so I'm gonna go over and mark up the rest of the ES and YM. Obviously, you guys already know I'm already preset for NQ, so I'll kind of give a brief of what I expect to see. But let's go ahead and mark up the other ones here really quickly.
Two people place the same exact trade.
I was like, what the heck? I guess I don't even really need that. So two as well. Let me write this down here. If you guys have any questions or anything like that as you guys start to come into the call, just drop it in the chat. I'll be able to respond inside the chat. So let's see what we get here. Now, like I said, I gotta mark up these higher time frames just really quick on ES and NQ, NQ on YM. So I'll leave this here while I do that. And then I'll do the quick, NQ levels and prices that I'm looking for today, potential what we're looking to see after we mark this up. So. Okay, so this would have been. So I know a lot of you guys ask me like, how do I mark up areas and specific levels? I do this part right here every day, and so it's easier, I think, to learn from someone as they do it than it is to like explain and try to be like, this is why I do it. Okay, so. Finish this one. So we have previous day high, previous day lows. So I can remove this. But I also want to know where that 50 level is. It's going to be important. 47,750. Okay, so like I said, what I'm basically doing right now is just marking up the other assets here really quick so that I can have a comparative strength analysis over the whole market here. And then, like I said, I'm going to get 825. I'm going to do a quick breakdown of what we expect from a higher time frame perspective of NQ. So that's Wednesday's, London's. So, we got daily, London, previous day high, previous day low, week low, market open. Okay, cool. This would have been previous day low, which is still liquidity. Excuse me, previous day. Okay, Okay, so we got that. Previous day high, previous day low. We don't need this daily anymore. We don't need this New York. Wednesday, London. Previous day high, previous day low. Now we need the right London here. London daily, previous day low, and then we know the high of the day. Now the reason why I really like to mark up ES just as much as I would NQ is because they move very similar, and knowing the divergences, so when one takes the liquidity and one doesn't, is very important. So let's see here. And so I'm always going to mark up these levels and kind of have an understanding relatively to what I'm looking for on NQ. Okay. So we've got everything marked up pretty much for the comparison. Let me go through this really quick. Weekly, daily, 4 hour, here 1 hour, 15s, and then I need to do, this is just an ES NQ comparison here. So for right now, what I'm gonna do is leave it just like this. And I'm gonna do the 1 hours here for right now, just to have that comparison. Then I have my higher time frame, right? Weekly, daily, 4 hour, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 hour, 15. Everything's fractal, okay? We want to know where QQQ is going to open up. Obviously, you guys can see we've been consolidating on QQQ, which is going to run a lot of our NQ market as well. So in between these areas here, when you're looking at like a 4 hour daily, this is a lot of just up and down range price where you want to be for the NQ trades that you want to be going base hits. Okay, so I'm going to be watching where this opens and stuff as well. And then really quick, obviously oil sold off tremendously from that 119, 118 area. And then watching silver and gold. Now we did have some positions on CFD that we wanted to see, right, coming into, what was it, Monday the 9th. So Sunday's overnight price, we wanted to see price continue to rally up through those areas. Got that, and then if you're holding any swing trades on that, then cool. Okay. But where we're gonna keep our focus is right here. I'm gonna do a quick, like I said, rundown of NQ. And then we will be on our way here. Okay, so looking at NQ, like I just said on QQQ, from a higher time frame perspective, right, on that daily, we swept those low resistance lows, right? We came down, we hit the psychological number 24,000, coming right into the demand level and bouncing off, right? And so by knowing that on the daily, right, and just kind of knowing what's high and what's low, this 4 hour area we used as a reference point to buy up back into supply areas and back into the top of the range. Now, the tricky part, I would say for today, what they're trying to do, 5 minutes before the market open, is they're holding this bull flag, right? So you have like this area like this, and then you have like a flag kind of pattern that's printing, and they're failing to take the liquidity, right? So like yesterday's liquidity that we wanted to see drawn on, which was here, 24,900, right under those lows where they made double bottoms during the New York session, and we ended up finding those buys up. There's lots of liquidity under here. And then for the overnight, right, the actual IB, I need to mark that as well here really quick. The low of day, right, the initial balance low of the day currently right now is the 24,900. So you have liquidity built here and you have liquidity built here, right? But they're not showing any signs of weakness going into the New York session, okay? And so with them doing that, they could go ahead and take that high of day. They could go ahead and reach for that previous day high, right, which was yesterday's high, and we did take the upside liquidity, if that makes sense here. Okay, so when you're looking at the 4 hour and you're looking left, if this was to extend, right, you're looking for price to fill the fair value gap imbalance, whatever you want to call it, expansion area into the 25,250 300 area. Okay, So we'll see what we get today, but that's just kind of like my higher time frame bias. I would like to personally see us reach a little bit higher, but I wouldn't be, flabbergasted. I wouldn't be like basically like, oh wow, this is surprising if the price just rolls over and reaccumulates down somewhere inside this candle first, and then goes. But basically, how it's looking right now, as long as they're holding this level, this initial balance low, right, then this area is going to work out. But like I said, if they don't, if this area does not work out, right, then I would love to play under that initial balance low. Okay, so we'll see what we get, but that area is going to be important. Let me mark it over here as well. And then that's pretty much my like quick bias, and I'm not going to really go too much into it. I'm not going to say as much. I'll have some commentary today of just like going over like what I'm seeing, but a lot of it's just going to be trading and execution. And then when it comes to questions about why we do certain things, I can answer those after I get done doing the session. But during this part here, that's what the goal is going to be, is just to be able to just look, see, and play. Okay, so we will see what we get. I'm going to bring you guys over for NQ traders specifically. I'm going to bring you guys over here to the 15.5 window. But right now I'm going to leave you guys on the higher time frame window as we mark up some stuff and continue to just watch as we go into the session. So we got about 2 minutes. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm like ready to go here. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, just drop them in the chat. Let me know if you guys can see everything okay, if you don't mind. If anyone that's on, just it's clear, or I need to zoom in or anything like that, just let me know. And then when it really quick, since we have about 40 seconds, when it comes to entries, I'll kind of explain the areas that I like. And I'll try to give as much as I can on when I'm going to take an entry as well. So, but we do want to see these opens here really quick. Let's get it. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys here with me with NQ, and we'll be studying this 15.5 together, because the overall markets I'll be watching myself here. And if you're in the chat, Tay, if you happen to take anything on 30, just let us know. Open. Yo, what's goody, bro? Yeah, just let us know if you end up seeing anything. Right now, I'm watching all the assets here. I would like to personally see from this area a rollover, so I'm going to be very patient here in what I'm watching. We are respecting that 80 level on NQ inside the inefficiencies, so I'm going to stick here. Like, what I'll do is I'll frame up something. Like, if I see something, I'll frame it and start to frame the move, and that's when you'll know, like, there's a potential that I might want to go ahead and look for a setup. But otherwise, just going to be taking notes and being pretty patient here. Now, me personally, if I would have had a position that shaped up like this at 745 and taken a trade like this, I would have loved to take something like this to get to where we're at now, but I'm not going to buy a continuation in that situation right there. So go highs at 47.9. Yeah, I'm kind of looking at more of the 1 hour supply of 47,750 responding to take that previous day low right now. That's what I'm wanting to see. Really quick, make sure you're marking your QQQs. All right, QQQ did open up with a gap up, so that was a really strong push up to start. Gold looking weak. Okay. And they've really used that 24,900 level as a really good area of support, right? We had liquidity, double bottom lows. They've never tapped into that level and just respect it. So yeah, I'll kind of show you what I'm seeing on that real quick today. So I'm kind of seeing like this is a higher area of premium. This is a massive supply candle in New York's inside there. So I'm kind of wanting to see if they can go below the key level. But the other two are relatively really strong. So we'll see. First 5 minute close was good. Still inside the range, right? Initial balance high and low. So we'll continue to watch here. Now if they break out of those areas is what I really care about. So take a look at the 4 hour right here. Nice push. 7:30 already had the news. Okay. ES looks pretty strong here. Let me write this down. On those H1, so I feel like they could be manipulating a little bit here. Now that we've gotten into this is essentially the 1 hour supply, 25,100. This is where I'm going to be really watching this area potentially here for fall back over. And then you have the New York low is obviously inside of an expansion. So a lot of buyers bought the continuation, which I think is more of a late trade. And a lot of them probably didn't buy the continuation. They probably bought the 25,073s. So nothing wrong with that, especially if we can go ahead and push through the high of day. If you guys do take any positions, drop them in the chat. It's like your price and where you got in, if you don't mind. ES still looking really strong too, and holding that previous day low in those 675s. So we're still looking pretty strong here. The question will be, like I said, as we're in this supply area, what happens right here? So I'm gonna be locked in. Okay, so I like how it's starting to reject that 25-1. I would need to see like a 5-minute sign of weakness here before I'd want to force my way into it or anything like that. So being patient here. Wave the Warrior, nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat. We're just sitting here, we're being patient. See what we get. On small time frames, I do like how this is stacking to extend. Like say if you took a buy here, and I wouldn't personally do it right now, but an extension from 25-100 up through these 25-123s, 130s wouldn't be bad. You're susceptible to risk because of how high you are, so just be careful because this is where I'm actually looking for the range to maybe maintain, and then for us to find a turnover short. Okay. Especially where ES is. This might be a good area, those 25-1s to possibly short with the risk at the highs. But let's see. I'm gonna wait for this 5-minute candle to close. I kind of like those 25-1s on the small time frames, but like I said, I'm gonna let this price close because like I said, this was a really good area. I thought like right here, risk at the highs, right? But I do want to be a little more patient on this one today on the sell side. And then kind of like I talked about really quick, I felt like this was going to go lower on YM below previous to low in 47.5 because of how you have supply in this like area from low to high. So I could see us maybe failing in Q inside 25-100, okay? And so we might already be on the move on that. If you guys are kind of like looking at this from 1 minute perspective, I was wanting to take it right there, so. Let's see this 5-minute close though here. There may be a chance to still take a setup, I would say, once we get the sign of weakness for sure. And then I'd be targeting those levels that we wanted yesterday, 24-900s and lower. So let's just kind of get an idea here of what we would be looking for. Something like this. All right. So still watching this 15.5. I do like this area though. Let's see if they show the signs on smaller time frames. I'll let you guys know if I'm gonna get in. So I do like that area, especially from where we were looking before. Back down to daily open, okay? All right, so right back down to daily open would be great. Like right in here, 25,015s. That's if we can roll over right here. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just looking for, like I said, a push from the area that we just looked at to here, and then you want to cover your position. So if it delivers through that New York Open 25,035s, you'll want to be break even on your trade depending on where you got in. As long as your entry is above 76s and price gets to here, I would say you'd want to be break even. And then like we talked about, YM just broke the 4750 level, right? It respected that 1 hour supply really good, so it could definitely roll over as well. So just be patient right here. Okay. Really nice push away from the area. And I would say, like, if you have, let me do this really quick. If you have any of those areas I'm going to show, at point of interest here, I would be break even, okay? And so now that we've reached point of interest, all right, what I'm going to do on this one, just to be safe, is going to show the risk, right? Because either it's getting ready to go and deliver my my area, or it's not, okay? And then our target on the downside is going to be, like I said, the previous day low, which I think is below the 24 or 25,850s. Banger. So you should be break even, right? Like we just talked about. And then we want, from a higher time frame perspective, we want this area. So we'll see if they kind of test in this area and kind of come back up first, which they do a lot of the times, and then they could just spike that area out. Who knows? We'll see. Yes, sir. And I really should have got it a little bit higher. I just kind of hesitated right there on that 1 minute. It would have made it a lot better, to be real. 1 to 3, that, or the 1.5 R would have been achieved already for sure without, like, with the break even, so that would have been great. So we're still not out of the woods yet. We'll see. And so it looks, this was the original area we looked at. This was after the, so 72, this was kind of the area. So we'd be looking for below daily open still, if you got anywhere below the 72s or anywhere in there. Now, if you want to be done at a 1 to 3 or a 3R trade, right, then that's not a bad trade either, okay? But I just like to have that limit, like I already have set there, so that we can monitor the area. So I'll kind of show what I'm doing here. So for mine, like I want it to, I'm break even. I want it to go ahead and knock me out of half of the trade. Then what I'm looking for on a higher time frame, there we go, that looks good, is for price to reach down for that previous day low target. Okay, so if we can reach down and get that, looks like we're about to get our limit achieved. It's close. This could play us right here. This is the area we needed to just slip through, but that's our higher time frame area that we're looking for. Okay, so let's see if we get that, and then that'll be a winning day no matter what. right? If we can get that area to deliver here. So, okay. And then we'll go over and look at higher time frame if we do get that area to deliver. How much longer does this 5-minute candle have? You want to see it push through these levels, right? Like fill this imbalance here, the 25,000 whole level, because if not, they'll start to like recoup the price on the point of interest. So you want to see it push through this level right here, and give you that that partial. See. Let's be patient. Entry could have been better, obviously, so a little bit better. Five-minute has 2 minutes left, so how close are we to 9? Okay. Price coming back up. Cool. Make sure you remove the partial, right? If you had the lower entry, I'll take the small, like just a small break even on that, and then what I'll do is wait and see if price does play out. Because what I really wanted was the 25-100 area. And so I'll just be patient and wait and see if there's something that else presents. If not, then that's fine. Because the entry could have been just a little bit higher, right? So now if that does go ahead and play out, or if you had a little bit higher of an entry in those 84s and you were break even, I still think that we get to our area. Okay. But we shall see here with the 5. Kind of want to see how this 5 minutes going to play. Might try to factor back into it. We'll see, just depending on how it rolls, or if it rolls. Nice bullish reaction off that area. So that's why I was saying when we took that short, when you get the point of interest, you want to protect or pay yourself because price will respond. Okay, let's look here. I still think we're going to roll into those areas we talked about, but we'll see. They're fighting that point of interest though, so we'll see here. Okay, let's see. Nobody else is short yet. Let's see. Take a look at ES here really quickly. ES is still holding that 675 whole level, and so we might be on the way up here still. We'll see. They failed to just fall over, so. With that high of day still open as well, so I'm glad we were able to, have a break even on that first one, just because they could roll over to that area, but they're just really holding that support at 24,900s. Okay, push back up. 15 looks pretty strong. 5 minute held the point of interest. So the rally up looks pretty good at this point, okay? See if we can find something else by like 9:30. Okay, so just watching the price here, like I said, it does look like they're gonna just extend through that high of day, which is fine. And then when we do look for those shorts now, that I would say if there is gonna be a short to attack that 24.9, it's gonna be either inside this range area of 25.180, or if we just go ahead and break out and take that previous day high, and we reach for like 25.250, I'll be looking for areas in there, because a lot of times, like, I'll come in here, if I wasn't short in this position here, down to here, and then I would find that buy, but I wouldn't have liked that one as much anyway today. So I'm grateful for what they've given me so far. Yeah, we did that in the very beginning. We talked about the position going break even, and right when it started getting closer to point of interest, we always protect or pay ourselves at point of interest. So we're just waiting at this point now for the next opportunity. Because this is more of a guess buy, I would say, of an imbalance fill. This is someone guessing, unless they didn't have a short position, then they definitely could have framed up something pretty good here. But I'm gonna be patient here as we move into the range, because we're now inside the 25.150 H1 supply area as well. And so the only liquidity could be above the highs, or they're going to hold it inside this area. So I'm going to be patient, like I said. And then YM did respond after taking that previous day low with buyers. So if you shorted that, I would, most people had limits under those lows, I think. I do like NQ right now on the pop up here. But let's watch this 5 minute and get closer to the 5 minute close. That 1 minute just deathed back into the area. So this is kind of where I was focused on here, is when we got the weakness, second candle. I was looking to possibly short this back down into the range, but we're still waiting. I gotta turn off these alerts. All right, let's see how this 5 minute closes. But I still do like the shorts. Yeah, I'd say anything below 47.6 on YM is kind of forceful to the lows. Still good R probably, but it's kind of forceful. You want to be in that top of the, I think Tate took it, the top of the supply candle, at least 50% of it. Okay, so I'm watching this area now, tough. This 5 minute close is going to be key. And like I said, I'm just evaluating that 1 minute area, okay? Waiting for that 5 close. Five-minute sign of strength close. It looks strong still to me at this point with that 5 minute strength. Five minutes still pretty strong, like I said. I'm gonna continue to watch here in this area. I like that 25-180 rejection. That's the high on the market right now, but 5 minutes still look relatively strong here going into 9:10. And so between now and 9:15, if we see something great, if we don't, then we shall see. I'm kind of liking the potential here at 25-123s, but being above the initial balance high as well. Could be a really good area here for the sell sides. Starting to really get weak there with that 5 minute fast up candle through the liquidity, so let's see. Would like to see that 5 minute close at least weak here in like 2 minutes. I like that 25-1, guys. I really do. To push down, right? I'll show the 1 minute here. When we started to, like, we closed lower right here. Say you started selling the 115s. I like that. And you're not looking to get very much farther past the point of interest or that New York low, because essentially this is the New York low as daily open right now. But it's like that 5 minute would need to really get aggressive down to the New York lows here, which are these liquidity right here. All right, like if it gets down to there very aggressively and quickly, then I would think that that's a pretty good area. And that's saying you took it inside the 5 minute supply area too, okay? Because it could easily just come back up. It looks very bullish with the structure still. So I'll watch here. ES looks pretty weak as well, so that's a good sign. So yeah, to see a slip below point of interest, if it's going to go bearish, would be the move. If not, then they're going to hold this area and just continue higher. So what I'm saying is like something like in the lines of like, well, in that 25-1 area, but they're still holding it pretty tough. So it looks like something like this, somewhere, anywhere that would be like this, potentially, but it's just like that structure is still higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. So you'd be taking a risk, and you'd make sure you have your 1.5R set, and then your TP would be probably below that New York low for like a really good area if it was to reject this 25-1 right here. Yeah, the shorts were great. I didn't think those double tops were going to get met just because of where they were on higher time frame. Good shorts. How much longer to the 5 minute closes? 3 minutes. So yeah, I'd be looking for, if they do this, make sure you pay yourself at 1.5 R, and then look for that push to 25. We need to see this 5 minute candle get very aggressive. Okay. Five minutes left, 2 minutes left, and it's like responding inside of a demand on the way up. So it's like either they're gonna push through, take the New York low, and the New York buyers that played that continuation fill the imbalance, or they're gonna hold this level and just rally back up. Okay. But I like them to get at least to this 25.040s, like back to London area, like below 50 level, and then for us to take that New York low. But we shall see. Let me take a look at ES here on smaller time frames. 15 looks pretty relatively the same, so but it's just the way that they're accumulating in the area. Yeah, let's see. Higher high, higher low, higher high. It's kind of iffy. Okay, 5 minute closes in 1 minute. So either they're gonna rally or they're gonna kind of go back for some of those buyers. Those shorts to the upside. Not really seeing the 1 minute price that I want to see for the sell. Let's see as we get into here. ES still looks pretty good. Oh, sorry. Just kind of watching this area still. Okay, it looks pretty interesting here. Okay. Take a screenshot over here really quick. Okay. So even from those, anywhere from those 100s, I think is a pretty good trade, but 105s looks really good because you started seeing the weakness on the 1 minute. And so if you like that area, then I would say make sure you have your 1.5 secure, and then you know where your 1 to 5 is. All right, and then our target is going to be this area here. If we do get this to hit that area that we're talking about right now, like if your 1.5 secures, then your target area, I believe, would be the New York session low. And so that looks pretty good. So just be patient here. Let's see. If you took a position above 100s or at 100, I would say like essentially because your 1 to 3 or your 1.5, excuse me, is right here. You could be break even if you're at the 100 level just to be safe, but because we're not really just breaking down yet. But that'd be cutting it tight. So I think we can push through this 50 level potentially if we're not going to go bullish. So like I said, if you have 100s or higher, I would say you could be risk off just because of how it's responding off that level on the 5 minute. But it's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor. And so I had an entry there at 100s and it came back to my break even. So we'll see what they do from here. Or it's very close for my entry. Literally came into a tick of the area. What time is it? Okay, cool. So just waiting this area out. It came into a tick of my risk. As you guys see, the 105.25 area was the entry was a little bit higher than that. So let's see, baby. Like I said, if it gets below the 50 level, anything that you have, if you have 25 100, I would cover the position and look for maybe it to slide and roll over. But I mean, they're being pretty difficult in how they want to do it, so we'll see. But if they do slide here, I think they're going to slide very aggressively. But they're hanging up there way too long right now. Okay, let's keep watching this. Did you guys take any trades today? Are you guys in anything right now? I know some people might be long. I mean, we'll see. These 5 minutes just aren't breaking down the way I would personally want to see them. I mean, we'll see here. They still has 3 minutes on this candle, so that's quite a bit of time. Took too short, stopped out, breaking news time. Nice, nice. That's why a lot of the times, like, I'll watch the 1 minute, but I'm also really like framing up 15 and 5 because I trust the formation there a lot better. And sometimes we can position our risk in a weird way on a 1 minute, and then it just gets us stopped out, and then it goes the way we want. So I feel like as long as you have even the 25.092s, right? Like if you had 92 and your stop loss was still this high, you'd still be looking pretty good. So like for example, if your entry was right here and your stop was here, that'd be pretty good still to give you your 1.5R and then to still have a chance to shoot lower, right? So something like that. So we'll look at it from that perspective because I know I just got a text and that's kind of the area I was liking. 100%. And looking at ES, it looks pretty weak on 15. And then we have this area playing out pretty well. So Let's see if we can get that 1.5. What I'm going to do really quickly here, because I have this area as well, is I'm going to probably, since we're getting close to the 1.5 partial, if you, depending on if you have the 92s or higher, I would be break even. Okay, so like for example, this is kind of what I'm looking at here on this. Right, if you have 192 or 100s or higher, be break even, because either you're going to deliver your partial right here and put you in a good spot for the day, or you're going to go back to break even. Okay, so like for me, what I want to see happen is at least us deliver the higher time frame liquidity, which we just delivered that, which that's great, because now we're at a green day no matter what. And then we want to take our TPs and set them for at least previous day low, or like here. Okay, because that'd be a really good TP area still, if it doesn't go. All right, so that's kind of what I'm looking for from a higher time frame perspective. But we did just drag out a 1 to 3R, right, which we planned out on the 5 minute. So you could definitely be done for the day off a 1 to 3, or like a pretty good 1.5. That's my second 1.5, so that makes 3R on the day. So I could be done. I'll just stay break even on the remainder and look for that TP to go. Okay. And then we talked about where we want to see from a bigger perspective, right? This is a massive range from the week low, so we could be looking at price to definitely get back to 700 level. It could be a good key level for me. If we continue to slide off of a cliff here. And then I want to show the higher time frame perspective of all three, right? We talked about this being a supply candle, right, on YM, right? Supply, point of interest, where we're at, swing low to swing high, breakdown, right? Same thing here, consolidation on ES. All right, this is consolidation inside of like a flag pattern type of area. All right, so consolidation, rollover, right? And the same thing here. We've come up, we delivered the liquidity, and we started to find the rollover after the draw at the supply. So taking a look at QQQ, we'll look at that later. Gold still looks good. And so looking at all three, like I said, from an hour perspective, it just seems really good to see these continue to the downside, okay? And so we'll go back to the middle screen here, so we can just monitor this. Now, if you want, and if you've lost a trade, I would say be like trail your risk to your 1.3, right? So you're securing 1.5 and be done for the day. That's the smart move, I would think, if you don't want to wait for the TP. And I'd say like NQ is a good area that you want to follow and understand the supply, right? This supply candle was the key. Either we were going to break out and the limits were going to get hit on those buys. Like if the buyers had their limits for sell side above previous day high, great. But since we failed to break the supply zone of 25,150, if you guys see I have marked here, then I'm anticipating the rollover back to the New York low. Because the thing about it like this isn't even the New York low. This is the engineered low that they set before New York. So they created FOMO, and then they created a continuation trade right at New York. So the location of where that's at lets me know that the buyers under here were FOMO traders that were trying to get in before everybody else. All right. So now when we're looking at this from a risk reward perspective, because we had our partial hit for 1.5, we're looking for that higher time frame area, let's just say here, for about a 15R. So you've already cut half. So if you get this, you're looking at like, what's half of 14.7? So you're half of 15, so 7.5R plus your 1.5. That's an amazing day, guys. Like if you can bag that, that's an amazing day. Okay. And so we're still holding that over there. I'm going to probably look to get out on futures at about the previous day low area. So we're still looking at about a 13R trade. So half of 13 was half of 12. So 6.5 plus your 1.5 that you secured. Okay. Oh yeah, you know how we do. Right, so we're still looking at those areas. Now I'm gonna go to a little bit higher time frame so we can kind of have an idea. Now, of course, I want this area, but this is more like my TP. This area right here is definitely an area that I'm anticipating for us to get to because how they left so much support in this area. Okay, so to see us push lower than here would be pretty amazing, right? And now, like I said, if you're gauging this from this perspective, right, you could be trailing your risk since you're 5R in profit. You could be trailing your risk based on like this high here if you wanted to secure that 3. But me personally, like I said, I've already secured some, so I'm just trying to monitor and watch here. Yeah. All right, so maybe you cut one, right? If you have 2 left, maybe you go ahead and cut one, stay break even from the remainder, and see if you can take that remainder now, right? It's up to you. If you didn't secure the 1.5 earlier, I would say that's definitely something you'd want to do. But we'll continue to watch this here till we'll watch it here until like 9:45 area. I gotta take a few notes here. But if you're on the stream, we definitely have already secured a winning day. So. And then taking a look at the overall other assets, we'll look at those here in just a second. Because now when you look at a comparative strength, let's do that actually right now. Comparative strength analysis, you can kind of see we on that ES, we consolidated inside supply, failed to push higher, and then we were starting to roll. And then same thing here, we took the liquidity on YM, right? So we took the liquidity here, fast up candle, roll over, right, from 48,000 whole level that me and Tay talked about. And then with this, we're in a high area of like, I would say you have like this low, this is our high, and this flag pattern I was talking about, right, Dorito, whatever you want to call it, is still holding up inside demand. So if they're going to roll this price over, we're going to see a fall through here, right, before I think we see something like that, you know. But if we don't, then understand that we are inside of a 4-hour demand candle that could respond, but it's less likely because of this being the low, this being the high, that I personally would want to see it, but not saying that it can't respond. Okay. Okay. Sheesh to the sea, baby. Let's go. All right, so we'll set some alerts here for this liquidity. I'm probably going to be on futures. If we can deliver below 24,900, I'll probably be out, just because that'll be a really, really good day. Let me take a couple notes here. Okay, we're starting to sync here. You guys have any questions so far? Yeah, bro. Yeah, Christopher. Yeah, bro. It's we can only be grateful for the good days. But I think that 5-minute setup was awesome, right? To see that supply push like that, and then to see the failure above 25,150. To me, this is just seeing the formation. You know. Let me take a screenshot over here. It's a beautiful trade. Beautiful trade. And remember that 1 hour, because of where it's at in the area, that's what I'm saying. I think that they'll definitely see a drip from something like this. Okay. So guys, this is a really good trade. Like I said, you're definitely up, over 1 to 5 R at this point. We're shooting for that previous day low target for the bigger time frame target. But if you're looking at this from a perspective of you've already crossed your 1.3 and now you've got your 1.5 secured, right? Like if you're looking at it like this, you could be done on the day, I would say, right? Because you basically at that at that 5 R's, you're securing 2.5 R plus your 1.5. You're doing really good on the day. Turn off these really quick. How do I do that? Let me take a look at the other assets here really quick. So let's see if we can get this drip through that liquidity, and then we will be out of there. Now, like I said, if you've lost a trade, I would probably at this 5R go ahead and secure your 2.5R, because we don't know for sure if we're going to break this 24.9. We want to, but that doesn't mean that we will for sure, right? But if you have only taken one trade and you hit 1.5R on the first one, so you won, and this is your second one, you've already secured your 1.5 to make 3R on the day. That's more of a situation where I would say I would stay break even with that remainder and just look for the target to deliver. Okay. So you got to play based on what you've produced yourself. Take a look at QQQ. Oh, that's why. And so one of the things that I want to see as well, that we'll talk about really quick, is the QQQ, right? If QQQ can hold support here at 607s, then NQ should rise. But if QQQ wants to go get the buyer liquidity here at the 605s, like if it reaches down here 605s, then there's a high chance that we roll over here on NQ. Right, so QQQ can roll over to 605, right, and break these lows. Then there's a good chance I think we could go lower. But if they continue to hold here like this, then they're going to just push that price back up. looks pretty strong. So that's basically what I'm looking for. Is if they fail this area, then they're going to do that. But you can see we're in that massive consolidation. We did take that liquidity here, and we did draw on another area again here. So it's just very difficult on that. And buyers are taking back here. So let's see here. Screenshot of this. Okay. Now, like I said, the final TP on this, if you're still in this, I would say would be that liquidity spot here would be really good. That's a 10R setup. If you have half volume, that's still 5R on the day. But the area that I really like for them to grab and just to get right below would be these this area here. If you feel unsecure about it, like say you still have the trailer your risk to 25,050s. Right, to secure like at least a, right here it'd be like a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 remainder. So you'd be securing about a 1 to 2, 1 to 3, securing that spot depending on your entry. If you got a higher entry than this on that 1 minute, then you have a better chance to secure a little bit more. But we'll see what they give us. When they start respecting this daily open like this, there's a chance that they're just gonna pull it back. Really watching this 5 minute here is the key. And this 15, because this candle here essentially is the area of like, if it goes past this area, then they're gonna go bullish. But if they respond from that 5 minute area like that and wickle like away from this area and can't close above daily opens, then you're most likely gonna get that low of day sweep. But they're starting to show that strength, okay? They're really starting to hold strength there. So we'll see. If you want to, like I said, I would go ahead and maybe trail out those 25.045s on that remainder. Just because if it comes back that high, most likely it's going to fill the inefficiency and then come back above 80 level. So you could go ahead and secure that 15-minute wick high like this, whatever that high is. I think that high exactly is 25.045 flat. So you could go ahead and secure the 45 flats, right? And then see if you can get to the low of day. All right, and if they come back above the 45 flats area, that'll be the end of the stream for me, because that means we're getting out of here with a win no matter what. And you know, we're not trying to be right or beat the markets. We're just trying to take what the market gives us. So and just remember, I'll kind of put the line of what I'm talking about. This is where the risk would go, okay? This area here, where is it? Does it say risk? All right, like risk off in that area. So if it goes right above that high, you'd be knocked out for a small profit. And then if it rolls over and falls, then that's that's just what it is, you know. But if we can hold those 45s, then cool. So with that being said, that's gonna be the end of the stream. We ended up finding a position that we started with. We ended up going 1.5R on that one. The second position that we found, I thought was a pretty good one. It did end up producing, even from this lower entry, lower than 100, it still did produce a 1 to 5R. So essentially in each stream, what we're looking for is we're looking for about a 1 to 3R to deliver fairly quickly, which we ended up getting that, where we can shave 1.5. And then our overall targets are about 1.5, or excuse me, 5R. And so if we've already secured half and we've got that 1.5R secured, the remaining volume when it hits this 5R area is going to be 2.5. So you have the option to either go ahead and, you know, partial out no matter what at your 1.5 and then go ahead and be done for the day when it hits your 5R area, which would be securing you 2.5R, which makes you over 3R for the day. So if it rolls from here, which it definitely can, then it just is what it is. I'm not gonna like force my way back into a short or try to play a position right here. That'll be it for me today. So appreciate you guys watching. We'll be back on for another stream here soon, I believe. What's today, Wednesday? And so let me see where this is at really quick. Oh, you guys are on the middle screen. So yeah, we'll be back, like I said, on for a another stream, I believe Friday. So we'll see though, because it's Friday the 13th, and I don't want to have superstitions, but you know. Okay, cool. So let me type this in really quick. So cool, pretty good stream. I feel like if you guys have any questions, just shoot me a DM, right, on Telegram, or shoot me a message on Instagram. On all social medias, I'm Ricky Trades. So if you have any questions, just shoot them to me on there. And then one thing I want to finish up with here is going to be just understanding here what we're looking at. We're super high up in the 4-hour range. We could see price fall off, right? Risk off being in this area, I thought was pretty good. The reason being is because the entry that I taken was a little bit below that 25-1. The second one I ended up taking was like 25-105s. So probably could have held, but it, like I said, it produced a 1.5R. So it's just really up to the person. But I do still think, based on where we're at, that we're going to roll over and get that previous day low sweep. But I'm not for sure. So appreciate you guys watching. Talk to you guys later. Have a good one.